It's another Slingbow video. This one's a bit different. All my previous Slingbows have used a fixed arrow rest, either like a fork or a whisker biscuit. However, I saw these online. They're only cheap, just normal hinges, two for £1.75, and I suddenly thought, hang on a minute, that could make a good drop away or drop down arrow rest. The idea being that it already stands up anyway, that way round, that way closed completely. And if I cut it down and I put a notch in there, then with the travel of the arrow coming through, it'll knock it away. The idea of a drop down arrow rest is that there's less friction restriction on the trajectory, the arrow shaft and the fletchings flying through it, and then it's not going to put the arrow off target, and also it won't damage the fletchings as much. And finally, with a sling bow, as opposed to a conventional bow, your elastics, your tubes or your bands will travel through when your arrow leaves and slam into your fixed rigid whisker biscuit or fork arrow rest. Whereas this way, even if the bands travel through, there'll be less damage, so they should last longer. So that's what gave me the inspiration and idea. I've used a Barnett Pro Diablo. I've done a Slingbow before with a standard Diablo, Barnett Diablo. This one's the Pro. The only difference being it comes with weights, which gives it a lot more sort of even balance in the hand, and it looks a bit more sort of tactical. I've same as the last one, I've covered the metal parts in tubing, just because I think it's a little bit more tactical really. And this here as well, I've put fatter tubing on there, narrow tubing on there. I think it was, I can't remember, I think it's about 4mm internal diameter there and 6 for here. And I've powered up with black bands as well, just keep with a black theme, also a little bit more power. The other thing you have to do with sling bows is to shorten the bands. If they're too long, you won't get the power. So I've shortened the bands by about another 50mm on each side. Taking the pouch off, I've put a D-loop with a paracord arrow nock, because I'll be using a release aid for shooting. I also made a paracord wrist brace as well, just because the plastic one is cheap and nasty, the standard one, and if you read up on it, they always break anyway. Now, the arrow rest, like I say, it's made from the hinge, and as you can see, I've cut a notch into it, and I've also glued leather on each side, just to give it a bit more rigidity, and also because it's leather, it's going to protect fletchings when they hit it a bit better, and the arrow shafts aren't going to scratch on the metal. I've used a wire here just to hold the arrow rest up. It would stay up on its own, but if you were shooting downwards, it would just drop away, and I don't want that happening. So this little metal rod just holds it in place. And the other thing is that when you shoot the arrow shaft, when you've sort of got your knocking point, if it creeps forward, it's just going to push it forward. So I think by having this little wire here, we'll just make sure that it doesn't drop away prematurely. I thought about using a spring, and I did initially try it with a spring. It bounced back up, which is nice for a reset, but the problem is when the arrow, I'll get an arrow, when an arrow travels through this type of rest, with a spring, it's just affecting the arrow flight, and it will push it up, whereas we want it to actually drop away so it gets a clear travel through the arrow rest. It'll make more sense when I'll sort of show you in a minute. You can also see that I've put I need another pair of hands here. I've put a little bit of a locked sort of knock on it. That's it goes downwards a little tiny bit. The idea being that when the arrow is sat in there, it's not going to just fall off the end. It's going to sit in there nicely and not go anywhere. But also, you don't want too much of a hook on it, because then that could hook on the arrow when it leaves the rest. I'll show you what the drop away is like from the rest. If you can see this okay. There's your cock feather there, that goes to the bottom, and the idea being that that won't foul on the wire there. Okay, I suppose just run it through and show you. Right, so the idea is that as it travels through, it just drops down. And then to reset it, you just have to pop it there. So it's not much effort to reset it, and then like I say, it just goes straight through and releases. That's the theory. I haven't shot it, it's the first time, I only finished it yesterday, so I think we'll give it a go now and see how it performs. I'm quite pleased with the look, it's come out quite nice. As with any sort of project of mine, I'll shoot over a short distance first. I'm going to shoot at about, I think it's about 8 metres away. My longest I'll go in my garden is 15 metres, but I'll try 8 first and then I'll try over a distance for accuracy. Right, let's see how this performs. I am traditionally a side shooter, but I'll shoot this one over the top. Has it gone the right way? Yeah, I'll shoot it over the top and just see how that is. Oh, I don't like the feel of that. No, I'm definitely a side shooter. It works both ways though. Yeah, side shooter. 8 metres is good, I'll definitely try 15. Last arrow, I'm going to miss now, aren't I? Yep, works. This works well, and the drop away has worked really well. I like that. Yeah, quite pleased how that performed. Accuracy's not great, but we'll try 15 metres next. shot pretty well. I only missed one. Okay, on the first shot, these are my first two. At 15 metres, it was low, so I just raised up my aiming point a little bit higher, and it's not bad grouping there. And my last one, obviously I missed, hit the backstop, aka the gate. All in all, really pleased with it. It's worked out really well. It shoots really nice, feels really comfortable, and I think with a bit more practice I can get my grouping a lot better. So yeah, there you have it. That's the Barnett Pro Diablo Slingbow. Tactical mods, drop down arrow rest, tubed it all up, paracord wrist brace, and power black bands with a D loop. Thanks for watching.